So there's a nationwide shortage of technicians, automotive technicians, no matter what brand it is. People just don't want to do this anymore. And I'm going to show you right now why there's a nationwide shortage of automotive technicians, especially at the dealership level. Let me show you exactly why. So this right here is the labor time for removing an HVAC assembly, the heater box inside the vehicle. We have an evaporator leak and the AC doesn't work. And this is the labor time from, I believe, ALLDATA. Pays 13.5 hours. See that? 13.5 hours labor to remove the HVAC assembly. And then this is the warranty labor time from Nissan. 4.8. They want me to do that HVAC assembly for 4.8 hours when ALLDATA is saying that it takes like 3 times as much as the warranty time, 13.5. So many of you may not know how technicians get paid. We get paid by the job. If a job pays 2 hours, then we'll get 2 hours no matter how long it takes us to complete that job. Our hourly rate may be $40 an hour. We may get paid $40 an hour, $50 an hour, and we'll only get 2 hours worth of that time to do that job. If it takes us 3 hours, then we'll still get 2 hours for that. So this is exactly the reason why nobody wants to do this anymore.
Well, this is probably one of the examples where the real suffering for doing the work of the people who were doing the actual technician work actually comes into a full circle. They don't really enjoy doing the work anymore. They don't really getting paid enough to do the job anymore. And it is kind of a perfect storm for the AI, perfect storm for the EV vehicles, because as we all know, the maintenance of the vehicles is much lower and the EV vehicles require much less parts, considerably less parts. So understanding that no one wants to do this job is just one of the examples where people kind of calculate, is my time worth more keep doing the job or doing something else? Do I really enjoy or do I really feel appreciative, right, by doing the service? Because you understand this is not an easy job. You should really know the cars, you should know the parts. Some of the vehicles have parts that are very hard to find, which means you as an expert, you should source the materials, you should source the replacement. In some cases, they should order, specific part to be made.
This is why Ford can't get anybody to work on their cars. Now last week the Ford CEO came out and said he had no technicians to fix all of his broken cars, and that's why it takes a minimum of 2 weeks to get your car looked at a Ford dealership. Now I already knew this was true because every time I call my local Ford dealer, they tell me they don't even have a transmission tech. And they gotta send every transmission job an hour out of town to the next nearest dealership that has a tech that can do that work. Now the Ford CEO states that there's over 6,000 bays in Ford dealerships without technicians, and they can't find anybody to fill those roles. And his attitude toward the whole situation is that people should be wanting to fill these roles and wanting to do these jobs, and he just couldn't understand why he can't fill them.
There are famous YouTubers here on YouTube who are buying cars, like luxury cars, and they try to fix the car, but the headlight is $2,000 and you cannot find the $2,000 even if you're willing to spend. So they have to 3D print the headlights, they have to 3D print the parts, but you still have to have a very deep knowledge of how this particular part works in the connection with the overall system of the vehicle. So like I said, these people are experts. They're like doctors for the cars, right? And when you see these people who are doing diagnostics, right? When you see these people who have a very niche and very obvious, knowledge that is in demand. Everyone almost has a car. Everyone almost every day drives. So their knowledge will be in demand.
There's a shortage of technicians. They have 6,000 empty bays. And he understands why now. So here's your answer, dude. This is why.
This is why. Your answer is because you charge an insane door rate. Technicians don't take home even a third of that usually. And you make junk vehicles. And your labor times suck. They're usually less than half of what it takes to do your job.
Yeah. So take into consideration that we have to buy our own freaking tools. That's one. 2, your warranty times are shit. If an engine replacement pays 25 hours under customer pay, and then we go do it under warranty, it's freaking 10 hours. So you're screwing us up. You're supposedly helping out the customer at the cost of the technician's paycheck. So, yes, that's the freaking reason why, not because your other stupid reasons that you mentioned.
Right. That, and on top of overcomplicating simple things that you've had for years that have worked well, you constantly reinvent the wheel, model to model, year to year, making repairs more lengthy and difficult for technicians. That's why everybody's leaving the industry. Pretty simple.
If you guys fix your reasons why there's a shortage of technicians, there wouldn't be a shortage. So this has nothing to do with colors, white or blue. If the pay was fair and everything else that comes with it was fair, then there wouldn't be a shortage on any freaking industry.
The end.
Adios, mofos.
So what's going on? Today I'm going to talk about Toyota, and yeah, there's probably a quality issue there, but there's really a technician issue there. There always has been. The last few years have probably seen it at the worst it's ever been, and it's just going to keep getting worse, which is possibly better for technicians in the long run, but I really don't think so. So what's happening? So in my neck of the world, Canada, Toyota at the moment has such a backlog on training that they don't have their certified Toyota Master Techs. And what's happening is, not only is there really no new apprentices coming into the industry, there's a brain drain right now. So as it stands, Toyota is so far behind on training that they're all starting off at the bottom. So let's just say, let's put it into levels 1 to 4. Everybody's at level 1. They have a backlog of 4 years of training, which tells me that there's nobody new coming into the industry, but also tells me that there's not enough master certified techs, and this is how I come to that conclusion. So in my local area, the dealership has lost almost all their master Toyota techs. They got maybe 2 guys left, and that's a brain drain. They probably lost a good 40 years of experience in a matter of a year. That's huge. You cannot replace those numbers in training, and it takes years. It takes years to make a master Toyota tech. It is what it is. So what's going on? So the one guy I work with, I'll tell you what he made to the industry, and Toyota and the dealership owners screw over technicians. So put this scenario in there. The one guy he was pretty much a master tech, left because the Toyota engine recall on the Tundras. The hours were great, and then they continually dropped how much he's making, to the point where here in Canada, Ontario, he said they were making 16 hours on this warranty job. At first it was higher, and then they just keep lowering it.
The question is, would AI be able to replace or fix some of the vehicles, or interchangeably, do or get the job done? We all know in the beginning of production of Tesla Model 3, there was a major issue with the efficiency of the production, because Elon Musk said that 80% of the production was done by robots. Then he removed majority of the robots. He left around 25 to 30% through the production process, field work by robots, and the remaining part was actually completed by humans, which removed the bottleneck and improved the efficiency and the production levels. So my real honest question here is, would this be a bottleneck for the production? Would this be a catalyst for the EV market to get a complete adoption? Looking here in New York City, I would say maybe 60-70% of all the cabs, Uber, and other taxi-like companies are using Tesla, right? We're seeing more and more delivering vehicles from Amazon being EV, right? Some people already claim that USPS has used some EVs as well. So obviously the EVs are, taking bigger and bigger portion of the auto market, being on the personal or commercial side. The question again remains, what these people will be doing if they're not mechanics anymore, and would the AI or somebody else be able to replace these jobs? Because like I said, this is in demand. The cars will be around forever, and there will be more and more vehicles that are on the older age side, which means more replacement, which means harder to find parts for them, which means these people, their expertise will be sick, in my opinion. If you don't believe me, just go on the government website for auctioning out a lot of the old vehicles that government use for police cars, some of the security vehicles, some of the army vehicles that are selling, you will see that even the government doesn't want to fix the old vehicles. They're just going to buy a brand new fleet of them. And you can go ahead and take a look what specific models are always part of the auctions, right? What specific models are usually have more issues in the description. So you will get an idea which models are more faulty than others, right? So it is really, really interesting to see how the development will proceed with these people. I'm more interested to see how these people will make ends meet than interested what is going to happen with the actual technology and the service providing side of the game.